Okay, let's get on with the stuff that I'm gonna bring today. Oh, so once upon a time I was looking for a video cover so that everybody could see my video, and when I was looking at video covers I came upon this one shit and I figured I'd just show you that way. My computer takes forever, you see. Can't do too much about that. Try to go backwards. When I start showing you stuff on this page, you know, I'll go backwards. Now you see, this is it came from Mayan Kings, right? I typed in Mayan Kings, and halfway down the page one of these images came open, and you see how it says here in the corner, view more. I just clicked on a view more. Clicking on a view more, now you see these men are bearded. And these are brown men with beards. Jaguar skins. You see some are dark, some are light. None of this shit is whitewashed or anything like that. And it's all here. It's just been waiting for us. There's different ones. So, only until colonization do you start to get these different looks, or these different nations being drawn as Aztecs and Mayans. Because when you see what the Aztecs and Mayans, or the Quiche drawing themselves, see, these were three nations of the Quiche. They weren't even called Aztec. You see, they drew themselves as Negro kings, or what we term as Negro. So, looking at these, so you click on some of them, and some of them leave links. And one of the links that was left was to real history www. or www. whatever. But we end up at this place a lot, don't we? So we're gonna take off from here. Okay, so when we talk about Mesoamerica, Mexico, Central America, and the decline of the Olmecs. Now, I've stated a few different times in the slightest back that I personally believe from my studies that the Olmecs are Canaanites. They, like many other African tribes, use heads as a land claim. And this is why you see giant heads scattered throughout Mexico. Now, when you learn about the Z people coming over, I believe that is Joshua. I believe that's Joshua because it says Hoshen of the Z people, and when you read the Bible you find out Joshua's real name is Hoshea and not Joshua. So Joshua is a made-up European name. Now, here are images of people of Panama that they put into their artwork. You can clearly see Negro images in these. It looks like they're the same image of the same king. Here you go. This is the Caminal Juya of Guatemala. When you go into that, you can see a lot of African faces in there. Right? That's what they want to argue. that it's Africa. No. Looking at the other pictures, you can see the Hamitic features. These people practice head flattening. Head flattening, forehead flattening, works along with nose flattening. Here we have the Caribbean monthly record of anthropological science. Negro skeleton remains from Indian site in the West Indies. States in a recent paper in his journal by Buxton Trevor and Julian implies that an undeformed Negroid physical type inhabited the Virgin Islands in pre-Columbian times. Now, here is the Itzapan making images of themselves. Then we come to the Mayan. The Mayan were the first of the Amerindian people to gain hegemony over Mesoamerica, Mexico and Central America. From as early as 1500 BCE, the Mayan people had settled in villages and were practicing agriculture based on cultivation of corn, maize, beans, and squash. They also began to build ceremonial centers, and in 200 AD, these had developed into cities containing temples, pyramids, palaces, plazas, and courts for playing ball. Now, they keep telling you that these men beheaded each other over ball games, and that's just silly. There was also a system of hieroglyphic writing and highly sophisticated calendar and astronomical systems. At this point, it is not known how much of this was uniquely Mayan and how much of it was taken directly from the Olmecs. It states, the Mayan hieroglyphics often depict the histories of the Mayan rulers who waged war on rival Mayan cities and took their aristocrats captive. These captives were then tortured, mutilated, and sacrificed to the Mayan gods. See some of these pictures here. Tortured human sacrifices were fundamental religious rituals in Mayan society. They were thought to guarantee fertility, demonstrate piety, and propagate the gods. And if such practices were neglected, cosmic disorder and chaos were thought to result. The drawing of human blood was thought to nourish the gods and thus necessary to achieve contact with them. Hence, Mayan rulers, as intermediaries between the Mayan people and the gods, had to undergo ritual bloodletting and self-torture. Well, here on these murals, you can see these images here. Now, these images here are the same images from some of these settings. Now, the first one we see is a red background, and another one we see is a blue background. Let me go back here. I can't say that they're the exact images, but you can see. I can't get too much closer because of the tripod. No, on these higher up, I can get closer. But all you can tell is that they're black or brown people of different shades. Here are some close-ups of them. This is a fresco Mayan at Bonapac. Alright, so you can see these men warring with themselves or others that look like them. To the average person, you can see that all the people that they've killed are dressed a certain way. Their hair is a certain way. We can see there are people that have dreadlocks here and here. There are something coming down here, and it matches some of these people's hair. It says Mayan vases and rollouts. Maya, a bearded ruler, has an audience with visitor wearing a bird headdress accompanied by twin attendants in black wearing feathered headdresses. The mirror is either in a basket or a ceramic painted to imitate a basket. Alright, as we scroll down, we have different images. Maya ruler looking in the mirror with face on the right. Now you can look this up on your cell phone. Real history, world history, ancient Mesoamerica, right? And when it gets to these pictures, you can turn the phone sideways and get a full screen picture, and then you can do the camera phone image capture, and then you've got this image you can always show people. I mean, this site's great, but you can take parts of the site and go right down people's face. They keep showing you Mexican people being the Maya and the Aztec. You gotta ask yourself why. And when you come to the obvious conclusion, because you've been watching these videos, you know it's about land theft. Now you see descendants of Europeans are settled in the land that the Aztec and the Mayans, the Quiche, were in. Ruler being painted on the backside while looking in the mirror, held by attendant. See, this guy is holding a mirror right here. Alright, see, this dude's beheaded. There's no body to him. One woman holding a mask. Oh, it's a mask or a trophy. A mask or a trophy head. See, it's a mask or it's a trophy head. It's somebody's head or it's a mask. Second woman looking on. Palace. If the woman is holding a death mask, and it's possible that the ruler is dead and being prepared for his burial. So, look at this picture. You can see these niggas. Goatees. Little shabby beard. Just a little Hitler mustache over here on this one. He's got a goatee. He's got a little shabby beard. He's got a Hitler goatee. Hitler mustache coming off the lip. Maya, thin figure. Ruler holding smoking tube, maybe. You know that nigga smoking a motherfucking pipe. This guy's holding a pipe. This guy's holding a pipe. Come on. Facing mirror, a vase, a bearded figure who is also has a smoking tube. Suggests he is a visitor from the west. The attendant is standing in wing. What do you think they got in that pipe? Surely you can't think these motherfuckers had tobacco. Now, oldest Mayan mural, 100 BC. And I can barely tell what it is. I see all kinds of things. I see a bird. It looks like a plant leaf for a bird there. It's very interesting. Above is one of the oldest known Mayan murals discovered in 2001 in the ancient Mayan city of San Bartolo. Yeah. The fucking city's named San Bartolo, right? Right, a Spanish name on a Mayan city, right? Come on. Go over there and take their what? Their palaces, their duchies. Now let me go back up. Let me be really annoying when it says that they had palaces and shit. What is that? Containing temples, pyramids, palaces, plazas, and courts, right? What do you think? How many people have been watching for a while? What do you think I'm going to do next? The robot always knows what I'm going to do. Ask the robot how he knows what I'm going to do. Because I'm acting robotic, right? The robot's going to say, "You are repetitive." Destroy the robot. Takes the rainbow. I mean, what? We grant you, we the kings of Spain, right? We grant you, the king of Spain and Portugal, by these present documents, our apostolic authority, full and free permission to invade, to search out, to capture, to subjugate the Saracens and pagans and any other unbelievers and enemies of Christ, wherever they may be, as well as their kingdoms, here's the part to match, their kingdoms, their duchies, their counties, their principalities, and other property. Yeah, what? Temples and pyramids and palaces and plazas and courts for playing ball until the Europeans came and took it all. Now, you should be asking yourself, well, what happened to the Mayan and what happened to the Aztec? What happened to the Quiche people? What happened to the three kingdoms of the Quiche people that people call the Aztec and the Mayan? Here we left off, right, with Smoking Joe's right here. Taking in a peace pipe. Right? Ooh. These motherfuckers is crazy. The story starts off with a deity above who is patron of kings. Standing in water, he's running a large spear through his own penis, letting blood. Each additional panel depicts rituals and sacrifice, accumulating the crowning of the king. Is that what this is? He's running something through his penis. Oh, okay, I can see his hand now, and then I can see the blood coming from his... Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna keep going. The Maya, however, were not interested in the ritual and sacrifice. In mathematics, positional notion and use of zero representing a pinnacle of intellectual achievement. Mayan astronomy underlay a complex calendar system involving an accurately determined solar year, 18 months of 20 days, plus an unlucky 5-day period, a sacred year of 260 days, 13 cycles, and 20 named days, a variety of long cycles accumulating in the long count based on a zero date in 13, pardon me, drinking soda, in 3114 BC. Maya astronomers compiled precise tables of position for the moon and Venus, and were able to predict solar eclipses. Okay, what does that have to do with? Okay, never mind. Okay, so there's the Utin or Zultan. Alright, so that's one of their calendars. Alright, I'm going to keep going. Alright, panoramic view of the three adjoining walls of the Mayan portrait and glyphs found in the plaza of the Zultan ruins, which are located in northern Guatemala near the borders of Mexico and Belize. They find this dates to 800 AD. So 750 they were carried away. 750 they were carried away. You see the dark man sitting Indian style? See the light skinned man right there? And there's another kind of person right there. I can't make it out. And they think this is what it looks like. Alright. Alright. So Teote Huchan Teotihuacan. The next culture to arise was the Teotihuacan. It was the most important and largest city of the pre-Aztec central Mexico. Located about 300 miles northeast of modern Mexico City. At about 500 AD at its height, it encompassed about some 20 square miles and supported a population of 200,000, making it at the time one of the largest cities in the world. Their language is unknown. Their ethnicity appears to be Olmec. So, why do they say that they're Olmec? We'll just leave that as an open question. And I don't need people from Boston to answer me. I don't need street mentality answers, people. Now, T-O-T, Huacan, looking down the Avenue of the Dead with the Pyramid of the Sun on the left, view from the top and the pyramid of the Pyramid of the Moon. Alright, so and this is what it looks like for people. Okay, so all these people groups who can't build anything like this are allowed to come and do anything they want here, right? Just come and walk around. Alright, one's the Pyramid of the Sun, one's the Pyramid of the Moon. Sun, moon. Unfortunately, no ancient Teotihuacan texts are known to exist. Bullshit. But the city is occasionally referred to in the text of Mayan documents. Excuse me, but the city is occasionally referred to in the text of Mayan documents. These show that Teotihuacan nobility traveled to and married with families of local rulers as far off as Honduras. Well, that's interesting. Now here's some of the faces. Can't help but notice they're not Caucasian and they're not Indian. They're pretty Negro and Africanesque. Mask from Teotihuacan, Teoti, Peoti, Teoti, T-O-T, is Teoti, whatever it is. Alright. Hey, sister souls. Is those hair curlers? No. Those are big giant hoop earrings. Hey, sister souls, sister. I don't even know what to even say that guy looks like. But he was hanging out at Teotihuacan. Spiritual owl. Maya hieroglyphics mention a spiritual owl, apparently an emperor of Teotihuacan, who reigned over 60 years and apparently imposed his relatives as kings of cities of Tikal and see, tell me this ain't no Babylonian fucking name, man. Zakdun. Where Zakdun? Where's Zakdun? Where's Zakdun? Wait a sec. Oh, I could do that all day and it still wouldn't be right. Which were cities off Guatemala. The city also had large numbers of merchants, many of whom had immigrated there from great distances. The priest emperor, the priest emperor who governed the city, so the high priest of the city. Hey, see this shit, dude? See, they're hiding your own shit in front of you. The priest / emperor. See, the priest would have word. The priest con would be the what? a headband or a diadem, right? If you wore a headband, it would contain the law. This is a high priest of the temple, right? Well, emperor who governed the city also staged grand religious pageants and ceremonies that often involved sacrifice. Human sacrifice. Human sacrifice. My bad. That just sounds funny. So, see what learning has done? See, this is what the fuck I mean. Oh, pardon me. I shall have to show you. I'll have to type in Tengu. Tengu. Lexwill, we've shown you many secrets. Now it is time to party. Connect the dots, fool, not party. Alright, so Tengu, the heavenly dog, is a legendary creature found in Japanese folk art and also is considered to be some type of Shinto god. The Shinto, China, Shinto god, Kami, supernatural being. Although they take their name from dog-like Chinese demon Tengu, the Tengu are originally thought to take forms of birds of prey. Now you wonder where DC Comics gets that shit from. Now you got it. And they are I'm on the same route they are. And they traditionally depict both human and avian characteristics. The early Tengu were predicted with beaks, like that movie 47 Ronin, right? The human type being with a beak for a nose. This is what they're showing you when Keanu, meow, not the cat. Don't you get it? They're making fun of Keanu Reeves with that movie, right? He's, you know, you guys don't see what all the black artists are doing to the white artists now? Like, they open them up as a buffet, and it's okay. Like, I mean, I don't pay that much attention to Hollywood, but come on, it's pretty obvious. It's a fucking cat dressed up as a gangster, right? And it's save my cat. And every time they show the cat, it goes, no. Ah, man, these guys, their particular humor. Meow. So Tengu was originally thought to take forms of the birds of prey. The earliest Tengu were pictured with beaks. All right, so but this feature is often been humanized with unnaturally long nose, which today is widely considered the Tengu's defining characteristic in popular imagination. Okay, so scroll down. So let's show you the difference. This is how they really look. This is the oldest type picture. I'm not saying this is the older, but this one is a monster, like a kite monster. Kite's a bird, right? But the size of it is monstrous, right? So when you look at this one right here, and you see this guy, see he's in a human but yet bird form, right? Human face, bird form, right? That's more humanized, all right? So you see this, we'll go up here. See how this one is? This is a Tengu mask. See how the nose is absurdly long? It's to say we're gonna humanize it. If we put a bird nose on it, foreigners aren't gonna so much. Who knows why? But here is the image of these things. Now, these are the same things when we go into it. That's taught the Haya people or Hata people, right? Probably Hittites. The law in Japan. From what we read earlier, all right. So, and they would run around with headbands on and metal rods with the Torah. They carried what was called the Torah no Maki. Now, when you dig up the Torah no Maki, the most you can find is a fighting style somewhere within karate and jinjitsu. Alright, but now, here's where the payoff is. Now, by studying this before, here's Tenju and a Buddhist monk. Here's a Tengu and a Buddhist monk. What are they doing? What are they fighting? Alright, so basically, it's some kind of bird-like creature. It appears in art in a large number of shapes, but it usually falls somewhere between a large, monstrous bird and a wholly anthropomorphized being, often with a red face and an unusually large or long nose. Now, whoops, set that back down. Well, let's go back to that. Now, what do you see in this picture? You see that absurd nose? Absurdly long nose for all these other images. See the nose there? Very normal. See the nose there? Very normal. Let me go back to other images. Those are normal noses. That's a normal nose. When you get to this one, it's absurdly long. What does he have around his forehead? A band. Right? A headband. What is this? Armor? Why is he dealing with single arm armor? And he's got another band. You remember you're supposed to keep the law around your arm, around your forehead? Now, I told you to watch Israel's redemption and learn from her. I didn't say that spitefully. I didn't say that to trick you. All you gotta do is learn from people. So we're gonna go down further, and there's lots of other things, lots of other little tribes that were here and there between them. Now the Toltecs are creepy, man. Then there were the Toltecs, who dominated much of the central Mexico around 1200 AD. Their language, the Nahuatl, you know that's Naphtali, was also spoken by the Aztecs. Oh, the Aztecs can speak the fucking Toltec language, right? Now you'll find some places that say the Aztec couldn't speak their language. You'll find places that say that Aztec lived on top of the Toltec structures. Excuse me, I'm drinking soda. They were a militaristic, nomadic people, so they moved around, right? And they or their ancestors may have sacked the city of Teotihuacan in 750. Now, isn't that interesting? Now, they think that the Toltecs or their ancestors sacked the city around 750. Now, the interesting thing about that is the Assyrians actually take the Israelites away at 750. Take the 10 tribes away. At 750 BC, not AD. And this states 750 AD right here. Alright. So, I want to show you this, because this says, priest wearing human skin of sacrifice victims. Now look at this shit. Now, you might think, hey, what the hell is that talking about? It says above, well, let's just look at it first. Is he wearing the victim as a garment? No, he's wearing a face. See this? You know how you got your kid and play box cut? Right? This is what this cat got. He got box cut, right? Right here. He's got the Texas chainsaw fucking thing going on right here. Now look in here. You'll see. It looks like it's a set of teeth frowning, but teeth don't frown. What that is that's the real person's lips. And this is a mask. Now I'm going to show you over here. Now over here, right, he's wearing little pieces of skin. You know how people went to war and they used to cut ears off and shit? I'm not saying those are ears. That actually, to me, that looks like tongues when you get up close. But look right here around his mouth. You see this around his mouth? That's the person's skin. See, they made an art. You see what their art was? It was getting the skeleton out of the fucking skin without ripping the skin up to be able to wear the face as a mask. See his lips right here? See his real teeth? Listen, I know it's just a fucking sculpture. Look at what the artist is trying to depict to you. Here's the teeth. Here's the real person's upper lip, lower lip. Now here's the lower lip of the mask. Here's the upper lip of the mask. You see the eye sockets, yet the real person eyes of the sculpture are squinting. That's some creepy stuff. Above and to the right, we have a priest wearing the skin of a sacrifice victim, a living human clothed in a sacrificial victim's skin. This is clearly visible around the mouth and around the wrists. Oh wow, I didn't see it. It's a whole skin suit. So this is, this has to, Silence of the Lambs, right? This type of image is among the most awesome and the most disturbing ever created by Mesoamerican artists. It expresses the deeply held belief that death is a necessity to life. According to such figures, were associated with fertility, rain, and springtime renewal of the earth's vegetation. Perhaps the wearer, upon shedding the skin, was perceived as a sprout emerging from a withered husk. Such figurines also had military meaning. Yeah. Now there's different pictures of the Aztec. Now these people, they claim is a 19th century picture of the Aztec, and you can see those noses actually exist on living people. And here's Aztecs from the 1400s, and you can see how they look a little bit different. You can very well see the black person, since we're on the checkerboard. You can see her face, and yet you don't see it in his. Now that doesn't mean one thing or the other. I'm just saying, it's interesting because we all have seen this image, and this is how the Europeans depicted their version of Montezuma. This is painted in London. This isn't painted on American soil. This is painted from writings about Montezuma. This is not painted with Montezuma standing there holding a spear and a shield saying, go ahead and paint me. This is off Cortez's words of what Montezuma wore dress, with a picture of part of modern Mexico behind him. The portrait is from John Ogilvy and Arnoldus Montanus' Complete History of America, one of the most influential works of the 17th century. Now look behind him. You can see the Capitol building. Here, let me go back to this part. Oh, it's up at the top. Oh, I'll just go over here to Dumb Diverses, right? You can see the kingdom, the duchies, the county. You can see the principalities. You can see other property. And this is what was destroyed. They act like you were living in shacks and fucking teepees, and they act like you weren't even black. You were other nations. And this is what they've taken from you. Your history, your art. They say only thriving societies get to the point where they make artwork. And look how much art came out of Egypt. Look how much art came out of the Mayan civilization. Not only artwork, mathematics. Why did they do this to you? 19th century portrait of Aztec couple. Now, I believe this is a photograph. But as you can see, there are different types of Aztec. Don't be fooled with that's the only Aztec looking people. Aztec sun god, Tanatur. I said Christopher Columbus had earlier landed in the Caribbean and had set in motion the killing, looting, subjugation. Let's go back to Dumb Verses. He would give you free and apostolic authority, full and free permission to search out, capture, subjugate the Saracens, pagans, and any other unbelievers, enemies of Christ. Here we go back and say Columbus had set in motion the killing, looting, and subjugation of the Arawak and Carib Indians that he had found there. This depicts the mass influence of Europeans, mostly from the time from Spain and Portugal, with the same thing in mind, plundering and looting. And here you see a picture of a Caribbean man, a Carib man, and you see he looks very Asian. He doesn't look very Negro at all. Now I don't know who came first. I don't know if they shared the land. I don't know anything about any of that stuff. Then there's the Acts of Cortez. Alright, yeah, I'm going to scroll down here, some of these. This note, the black soldier with Cortez here. It says manuscript History of the Indians, 1579 by Diego Duran. Alright, 1537, 1588. Cortez being welcomed by Indians to a beating drum. It says above is typical of white fantasy history. Click here for more on Aztec. Alright, and we're going to just keep going, scroll down in here. People behind the destruction, King Ferdinand's letter to the Arawak Indians. Now, here we have Alexander, Pope Alexander, right? He writes the next papal bull. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of things here. This is a panel from a painting in the Larco Museum in Lima, Peru, depicting the Inca emperors. This panel shows the last 7 Inca emperors and the subsequent first European emperor of the Inca, the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, Carlos V, in the 15th Inca, as the 15th Inca emperor. Down here is Carlos V. That is your boy, Emperor Charles V. Before him was King James, right? Now this is when they were still ruled by blacks, before the overthrow. Here you have Charles V oversaw the Spanish colonization of the Americas, including the conquest of both the Aztec Empire and the Inca Empire. Uncomfortable with how his viceroys were governing the Americas vis-a-vis the Native Americans, Charles consulted figures such as Francisco de Vitoria and Bartolomé de las Casas on morality of colonization. Oh, you didn't think about the fucking morality of colonization prior to sending armies over? Though always at war, Charles was essentially a lover of peace. Fuck you. And all his wars were virtually defensive. Fuck you. Not greedy of territory. Fuck you. Wrote Marcantino, whatever, but most greedy of peace and quiet. Charles retired in 1556. The youngest Habsburg monarchy passed to Charles' younger brother's friend Ferdinand, whereas the Spanish Empire was inherited by his son Philip II. A panel from the painting in the Larco Museum, we already read that. Subsequent, the last Inca Empire at Atahualpa, and the subsequent First Roman Empire, European Emperor of the Inca, Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, right? Fuck you. So here you have, down here, unauthenticated altar painting titled. Now this is at an altar. Do they show you the altar? No, they don't show you the actual altar. Like it's parts of a window. This is actually parts. Oops, I just broke everything. Oh no. Okay, so it's the Virgin of Navigators, aka Saint Mary of the Good Winds, in the chapel of Casa de Contraction in Seville, Spain. Said to be painted by Alio Ferdinand, 1530. Said to be the earliest known painting, whose subject is the discovery of the Americas. Mary is depicted spreading her mantle over the Spanish. In the background around the Virgin gather figures of indigenous peoples in the Americas. The painting only historic value lies in the depiction of the Americans that Columbus encountered in his travels to Cuba, Hispaniola, the island of Haiti and Dominican Republic, and the Bahamas, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, and Trinidad. The painting depicts Paleo-Americans as brown-skinned blacks as opposed to American Indians, who are of Mongol extract. Is in agreement with scientific studies such as morphological affinities of the earliest known Americans and the cranial morphology of early Americans from Lagoa Santa, Brazil, implications of the settlement in the New World, which say the first Americans were black, of Australia and Pacific types such as the Solomon Islands, with the Mongol type following later. However, the painting's depiction of Ferdinand II of Aragon and Emperor Charles V, cloaked in red, however portrayed together with Columbus, Amerigo Vespucci, and one of the Pinzon brothers shown kneeling, are all so different from other paintings of them, and white idealized, suggesting that the painting is a modern fake. But there can be no confidence that the depiction of the original Americans are accurate. It is also said the painting may be the fullest statement of the approved Spanish ideology, which might be called the White Legend of Spain's Imperial Election. Voila! See? White supremacy. That's why the Indians are black in the image. And the best I can do is angle it up. And by angling it up, and then take the camera close like this. Now, there you can see the brown-skinned black slaves in the background. There's the men on one side. Now, you see how it's black, how it's poofy here, and then it's blue in the background. That's their poofy hair. And when you see a bigger picture, now this is a great image of it, but it's still, you can't see them. There's a guy with I think that's a guy with a beard right there. Thought there's a woman right there, but there's a line of women, and then a man right there. But again, now we're either dealing with a go back up. Now we're either dealing with a mixed kingdom of people of black, brown, yellow, and red, or we're dealing with many nations living in unison with one another. Now, however we want to view this is up to each man's mind, because I'm not here to control your thoughts. You can see this shit exists. You can see how to find it. You just type in Mayan kings, and then it comes up. When you see these images in one of these boxes and you get it to fill up like this, hit the show view more. You don't have to do this with me, and you don't have to do this because of me. You want to do it because it's you. Shit. Now when you type in the Aztecs, you know, they bring up all this. I'm not going to go through this yet. The video is already so long. Now you can see there's plenty of people that are Aztec that don't have the noses of these people. That's just what they see. No offense to these people or anybody that's related to them. These people look so odd that they want to say these are the Aztecs and all the Aztecs look like these people, because you don't see them anymore. But that's the big secret. Right? You see people that look like this all. I don't know what this is. So they say this is Naza Hua Lakoto, right? So they depict him as a Caucasian, right? But all these statues are black, but the only one that deals with paint. Right? And then, if that's really a, yeah, see, this picture is presented for no other reason than to demonstrate how whites use to fake and falsify artifacts to destroy history. Yeah, it's funny, because they got a fucking stamp on that. If that was actually something from history, they wouldn't have stamped that shit. Yeah. See the Negro face? Kind of Asiatic, even mustache, and beard. So you got the Asian beard. That's mixed tech that we looked at. Interesting. The fall of the empire. Yeah, we'll get into that. So I wanted to show you some stuff. That's just something that popped up, right? Always remember, this is the root of our problem, right? And it's not going to change. We are occupied. Now, when I was looking through some of this, and I typed in Mayan kings, sorry, it's one hand. Oh, come on. Oh boy, these guys, man. This book came out, Chronicle of the Maya Kings and Queens. Right. So, hardcover, $1.33. Fuck it, buy it used. I don't see why everybody wants a brand new $30 book. You know what I mean? So that's there. Then somebody said, "Hey, there are Mayan temples in Georgia." I was like, "Right, yeah, all right." So then they sent me a link, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty interesting." All these black people that live in Georgia, and none of them give a damn. But that's the key. They said, "You're African. You're from another fucking country, from another continent." And that's the whole point of you never saying, "Well, let me just, investigate with the stuff that's here." You say you read this Bible, you don't. And then it says Jacob will always have a bow, so that means Jacob should be hunting. And Jacob is never hunting. Jacob's always shaking life like a leaf, because on one end he's got the fucking black man chasing him, on the other end he's got the white man chasing him. If black means white and white means black, and Jacob will never wax pale, well, I'm sorry, then that means Jacob ain't gonna turn white and Jacob ain't gonna turn black. He always gonna look sandy, like a little sand nigga. So look, this site says, nope, nobody found Mayan ruins in Georgia. Now, you see what this is? This is Ohio, right there. Now, let me show you something. Okay, so how many people understand what we're looking at? This is a map of the United States. This is a map of the United States where Mayan ruins have been found. Okay, here you have the Great Lakes, right? Great Lakes. You have Ohio, and you have Michigan, and then what's here? Wisconsin or something? Or some kind of shit, right? Minnesota somewhere in here, right? And Chicago, where's Chicago? Chicago's close to the lake, right? That's Chicago. Here's Detroit, here's Chicago. You understand what's going on? Do you understand what's going on? No, you don't. Okay. Here's Ohio. Ohio River goes into what? Michigan and Illinois. Is Illinois here? So I don't know. That's irrelevant. You know where you live. These ruins are by you, right? So all these places the Mayan control, or the Aztec, because the Mayan, they're just two branches of the three Quiche nations, right? Look at this. South Mississippi. Why they got this one color? Didn't I just read to you that the Gual controlled 3 states, except for when Spain came in and took the lower Florida, but they controlled the border, the oceans of the rest? Georgia, South Carolina. Gual. Is this not Gual territory highlighted? Don't you see what's going on? Gual get murdered off by poison. Some of their members and some other members of somebody else's got murdered off. The Hitachi, I thought that was Japanese. No, that was black people. Oh, brown people. Whether they be dark brown, can't tell today. They were poisoned, so those bodies were probably burned. They could have been your complexion, they could have been my complexion, they could have been anywhere in between. All this, right? All this Mayan ruins found. These are what? This ain't one guy going from here, going from there, saying, oh shit, we better go to here, we better go to here. These are different groups of Mayan dispersed throughout the territory. Why they show you different colors in this area? Why does the color change on the map? You've got to ask yourself questions like this. I'm going to ask you the biggest question right now, right? Let me ask you a question. That's my presentation for the day. You see all over this side of the map. You know the Aztec was on the west side. Now, it's interesting, isn't it? All the Aztec that were in Mexico, all the Aztec that were in Utah or Aztlan went down back to the capital in Central America. warred with Cortez after the Mayan temples fell. What'd they fight for? City of the Sun and Moon? The Avenue of the Dead? They fight all over all that? What happened? The Aztecs lost just like the Mayan lost. Branch 1 went down, branch 2 went down. Then what happens? One Spanish group takes the Aztecs up to Atitlan, up to Utah, starts forcing them to tell where the mines are. They turned over a couple of mines. There's evidence of that. There's Spanish gold found today with Spanish mint or branding in the gold. Then what happens? Come on, we can piece this together. It's pretty obvious. There's 3 branches of the Quiche. The Aztec, the Mayan, and somebody else, right? It's got to be the Gual. So they take down the Mayan, then it's got 2. The Gual and the Aztec. And the Aztec come back, and they fight for the capital, right? Then the Gual, then the Aztec fall. Then you're left with the Gual, right? Then what happens? At this point, history's passing, years are passing. What happens? Then you're up here with Andrew Jackson. You're up here with Jefferson, and then you're up here with Jackson a few years later. It's just relentless, right? And what happens? Now, today they say, oh, well, these Mongol types are Seminole, and these Iranians are Seminole. We already know they were Turk Indians over here from the fucking story of that Spanish soldier story, like a few years after Cortez. I forgot what his name is, but for some reason I read about his story, and he said there was Turk Indians, and there was this one Turk that he came across, right? The tour guide, right? So, what happens then? So now, you have the Gual being taken out with poison, right? With the Black Plague, right? And then what happens? Something's done secretively, right? You got all these Indians, right? Black and red, fighting Afro and red skin. I don't mean like Afro with red skin, I mean Mongol. Afro and Mongol fighting out of Florida, right? Somehow they call all the Indians in, right? All the Indians are lured to Florida, to the Florida region, right? They're lured to this area, right? They're lured right here to this area, right? Everybody in the country done been called down to about that area, right? And this is the Seminole Wars, which then advances from the Seminole Wars, because the Seminole Wars, it seems like it's a trap. It seems like the Seminole Wars is a trap. It seems like they're all called in. I mean, yeah, they're all fighting, but it's where they all lose, right? That breaks into the Gullah Wars, right? The survivors of that, diaspora, and it breaks into the Seminole War. Then it breaks into the Gullah Wars. So, here's the big question today. Do you already know what I'm going to say? Where are the Aztec today? And where are the Mayan today? And this isn't some big clusterfuck. This isn't. Ulysses S. Grant says, hey, I got all 7 million of these niggas waiting to build railroads. We call them Aztec. Examine the time of slavery. Examine the time of Ulysses S. Grant. Just open it up. When the fuck was Ulysses S. Grant a general? And he'll tell you when he's war general. When he's motherfucking war general, before he's president. When he's war general, Aztecs are still alive and called Aztec. All you gotta do is go back to pictures of people building the road. If you go back to historic pictures of people imprisoned building roads or enslaved building roads at the time of Ulysses S. Grant, because he's got pictures of himself. The camera was invented by then. When they build the first roads, they're going to take pictures. They're going to take pictures of how they built it. If you see... Well, let me get back to where that was. Whoop. If you see pictures like this, of people like that building the roads, and that's what the Aztec look like. Hey, no offense to them, but you see this nigga here? You see this nigga here on every damn block. Right? You see this cat here? You see these faces today. Look at how well these images are drawn that you actually see faces like this today. You could actually probably find a damn actor that looked like these two dudes. When you go up and you can see the people's faces, and you can see how their images is translated through these. Okay, don't get fooled by all this shit. This might be like one family group, right? And it might be half the family groups, because I'm not blind either. I see some of these people got big noses. I see some of these people got small noses. But I know that they dealt with head warping, and that was a sin. Flat heading. Alright, so I think that's... So, ask yourself, where are these people at? What happened to the Mayan? And what happened to the Aztec? And what happened to the Gual? And what happened to the Yamasee? And you hear people today, you see people already say, oh shit, I'm Geechee. There's already a comment to say, well, when I'm with certain people, we live in the South, when I'm with certain people, they see certain types of Geechee, nigga, don't fuck with him. I live in the North. I don't know what that term means. I don't know what those phrases mean, you know. But again, for people to sit there and say black on black don't exist, and then you've got a particular type of black or a particular type of brown, and you sit there and say, me and some other brown motherfuckers was walking, and they was like, stay away from those type of people. I mean, that does go to say, you know, you don't see German people. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, you do. You see German people saying, stay away from Polacks. You know. So, you know. I mean, you see it in all customs. You know. So understand. You know. Understand what's going on. I can't particularly say that each of us are from this tribe or this tribe or this tribe. Unfortunately, the only thing that's going to tell you what tribe you're from is DNA. The problem with DNA testing is that it's rigged. Now, I did a 3.5 hours, I think, video on Hollow Group, on just the word fucking Hollow Group. Alright? Now, I didn't break it down DNA wise. I just let you see a bunch of dumbass people say hollow group, hollow group, hollow group, hollow group, hollow group, hollow group. It's fucking ridiculous. Because nobody's listening. I told you to listen to that girl, Israel's Redemption, and she sat there and she told you the game is rigged. It's funny because she told you in like late January and February at the same time I was doing my videos, and me and her have never talked. I typed to her once, she typed back, and that's the only correspondence we've ever had. So I told you she's a wise person to watch her. I can't help that this dude just, oh, she's this, she's that. Okay, well, she is. She's part of an Indian group that says that they're blood relatives, the Mongolians, which doesn't matter to me, but that means that she's not Israel like she says she is. Does that mean she's foolish? No. That means she doesn't honor the Ten Commandments? No. I think she says on film she does. Does that mean that she's wrong about some things? Sure. Who isn't? So the thing that people have to understand, there are black Indian groups out there. There are black Indian groups that are related to Mongoloid Indian groups. It exists. They're in the same condition as you. What you and I need to understand is how their tribes were set up. If we want the Mayan, the Quiche, the Aztec, the Mayan, and the Gual, if we want the three Quiche tribes reunited, well, we can do that. But we, I, you, me, we have to do that. It's not just gonna happen. I understand our beliefs. Our beliefs are Christianized. Like there's somebody running around with a fucking wand. Nah. That shit doesn't happen. When I say, hey, donate, if we go to Utah to investigate, it would be great to have food and a place to sleep, to pitch a tent where we're not going to get arrested. And here comes Negative Nancy. You know, and it's fine. That's cool. That's cool. I expect a lot of pushback because I've just insulted two separate groups. Every day I insult Caucasus people for the enslavement. Every day I insult darker people. Because when I insult black people as a group, darker people say, he's talking to me. I don't see anybody that's light-skinned arguing with me. Because they know there's a light-skin, black-skin war. We know that there's dark-skinned people that go and buy bleach for their skin to get lighter. And there's nobody around here running around getting pills to turn darker. Not people with afros. I don't put it in your face. You put it in my face. People act as though if some ambiguous person insults me personally, I'm just supposed to ignore it. That's what you want. I'm not you. If you want that, you have to start that. And when you grow to a point and you say, well, it's time to gather people together, and you don't respect the idea of people not liking you, well, they're just going to come and hurt you face to face. At least these people, eventually they'll have to be deceptive. The thing is, you hear me say threats, but my actions are always for the people. If we're gonna go to Utah and look or mine or see the view that Moses saw, then we have to physically be there. I'm not climbing a mountain to take a camera just so people sitting at home can do it, can see. Don't live vicariously. You've been taught that from your oppressor. There are things as a people that we must do. I know you believe that God's going to come in a magic carpet and go from each block, in each city, in each county, in each state, and zigzag through the nation like Santa Claus. I know how drunk your thoughts are. The Israelites as a whole, to Exodus, got their asses out of Egypt. I told you to read this Bible so you don't say drunken comments to me. Moses didn't need money! Man, read the Bible! God told him he's gonna use money to buy food. Drunken! You're half-breed child! Well, fuck, all Moses' children is half-breed then. I mean, Ephraim and Manasseh are mixed with Egyptian blood. Your first oppressor. But you have no knowledge of this because you will not read. I want to do something for the people because it's there. And because of our Christianized views, we're not willing to even understand our own writings taken from us. I don't care if they're rewritten or tampered with. The solid message is still there. Lead them out. It doesn't matter if I lead you out or someone else leads you out. It matters that we gather to be led out. And for one, the children of Israel do not think of God. They do not think of who made them. He says that over and over and over again. So it makes no point for me to sit here and babble much longer. For two, think about something. I want you to write down every nation that is supposed to be in the vicinity of Israel. I want you to write down Moab, you know how Ammon, you know how this goes. I say it each day. Each day I tell you the same things. Write down the 4 Hebrew nations here. Write down the 11 Canaanite nations here. Right? Now you divide that up percentage-wise. Now, 4 Hebrew nations and 11 Hamite nations. For the most part, all dark skin. All Afro. Amorites, Canaanites. I'm assuming Canaanites are Afro. We still don't know what the Jebusites look like. Still don't know what the parasites look like. Parasites look like. You see what I'm saying? Can't give you a quite accurate percentage of how many people are Israel, yet how many people are Moab, yet how many people are Ammon, yet how many people are Edom, yet how many people are these Afro nations of Canaan. See, you're not willing to accept that. Everybody wants to say, oh, well, we've been taught all black people are Israelites. Well, fine. Then go to that teacher and let him take you where he's going to take you. And whatever leader develops out of what happens with you guys is on you guys. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Utah and I'm going to do the hard work and sweat and put the bean in the ground. I'm going to put the seed in the ground. And the people that want to join will join. And as we work together, the leader that develops out of us, he's going to be the one that leads us out. It's not me, I. It's him. Now, people want to cry about this and that. When you're with those Bible camps and you're compelled, when you're under their charm, this is why I say, this is why I'm going to cuss, I'm going to spit in videos, I'm going to dress like garbage. I don't want you to be charmed. I want you to see the truth for what it is and make your own decision. We just ain't got all day. Now I can't help that 2,000 people came before you and said Jesus, 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 and you just got away from that. But it's rocky. I've been there. But you got to understand, this is a war machine. Now, if you're watching and you hate me, it makes no sense that you're watching, but something in you has told you to keep watching. If you're not interested in donating, then don't donate. I don't need the comments. I don't need you to attempt to detour other people. Because there's people that want to go. We work in these societies so we can eat and get leisure shit. We're tired of working for people. I'm gonna tell you, since this person tells me he has a problem with me not working and asking for money for people, I'll make this very simple. I work for a company that somehow they got workers from their homeland. So very few people could speak English, but they could understand English. There's a few people that could talk. Okay, I worked with a Mexican guy washing dishes. Now, the Mexican guy, we work when we get paid twice in a month, 15th and then the end of the month, right? All right, so we don't deal with 4 pay periods. We don't deal with 2.5 or anything. It's just 2 pay periods per month. The Mexican guy I worked with, he went on vacation. They told me he was going on vacation for 3 weeks. He went on vacation for longer than a month. So I was replacing him. Now, I was in agreement with replacing him because the baby was on the way, and they knew I was going to get a break once the baby was here. He makes less than me because they give him a place to stay or a room to sleep in, a room with a bed. They give him free food. Now, me replacing him should mean I get all the hours that he got. Now, he got 120 hours in 1 pay period. That is 40 hours of overtime. At 80 hours, it's overtime. That's 40 hours of overtime. Now, when they asked me to replace him, they cut my hours down to 83 hours in the same pay period. So they're asking me to work twice as hard. Now, when he got there, he doesn't have a car, so he gets to get there when it opens, and he's there to when it closes. Now, that's a long time in the restaurant, and I said I accepted it. And this is where I was denied. Now, when I cleaned I have 3 sinks in the back for pots and pans, and I have a dish machine in the front and a table. Now, when I leave, it's supposed to be nice and clean, and when I come in, it should be nice and clean. Most of you have jobs where you have a station, and your instructions are to leave with the station nice and neat for the next person or for yourself to come back. Now, I was being scheduled 2 hours after everybody else came in and created mess, right? So when I get in, pile in the front sink, plates, pile in the back sink with the pots and pans. Now I'm taking his place, so that means I will get an assistant later in the day. But until then, my job is now to work down both piles, which I feel is unfair to me because when I left, my workstation was clean. I should have been scheduled same time as everybody else. Another problem I have with the job, if they're scheduled early, there's a lunch for everyone and there's a dinner for everyone. When we're scheduled early and I'm scheduled 2 hours later, the lunch is eaten when I get there. There are many problems that took place at the restaurant. Everybody in the restaurant gets a part of tips, except for the dishwasher, which is unfair. When anybody needs anything, it's Alex, 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 Alex. But when I ask for a piece of the pie, one of the servers starts screaming at me at an unfair tone that that's stupid and that I'm stupid for saying that. So, you know, I say I can't believe you're insulting me on that level, and we're all here for money. You didn't come and be a server because you like serving people. You came here for money. So, on top of that, when I arrived, there was a foreign guy from somewhere in Lower Asia named something. But here in this country, he goes by Alex. Alright? There's also the dishwasher that's Mexican, and his name is Alejandro. So, there's 3 of us, and when I start, they say to me, well, because there's 2 people named Alex already, and the guy you're going to work with is named Alejandro, which technically isn't really even the same name. We'd like to call you by your middle name. And I go, I guess, you know, I really don't, you know, see why, but it's passed aside. So then written on everything is my middle name. So now, for the first time in my life, somebody's shouting my middle name all the time, which is just odd. Then we get a fourth person named Alex, and it's an American, and it's a little white kid, a little Caucasian dude, and I'm waiting to see like what his middle name is, since they made me use mine, you know, and they didn't really, you know, twist my arm or anything, you know, they just act like I'm doing them a favor, you know, so I felt it was kind of weird that they asked everybody else to use their name, but they asked me to use my middle name. Wow. That seems silly, you know, but when you've got people calling Alex right in front of you and looking past you because they don't see you as Alex, you know, that's kind of weird. You know, it's a little bothersome. There are other problems that take place. These people, they have a Christian belief. When I tell them I don't eat pork, their first response, "Oh, you Muslim?" And no, food laws, Bible, Muslim. No. Oh, you Muslim? Over and over again. It's really odd. But it's not like I'm lazy. When I was explaining to someone that when I'm scheduled 83 hours versus 120 hours, this is the difference between a $900 paycheck and a $1,500 paycheck. I was, how do I say, marginalized to commit more stress on the position. In such a manner that when you do the mathematics, just simple math, 120 hours that I should be guaranteed by taking someone else's position, and what I was given, 83, you get 37 left over. When you multiply 37 by the amount I was getting paid, plus time and a half, you get to around a $15 an hour range. When that's multiplied by the amount of hours that you're denied, that equals around $450 to $500. So that it does take a bigger chunk out of my paycheck. Excuse me, $1,400 paycheck, not a $1,500 paycheck. But that keeps me at a price level. That means I'm only going to have this much amount of cash to make this many decisions with. If I'm spending all this time at work, I truly don't have that much money to spend on anything but bills anyway. That means a savings would have happened. What was going on is I was being prevented to get that. Now, if you understand that, you do. If you don't understand that, then fine. Now again, me not working for someone is just not working for someone. And that doesn't mean I don't work. And that doesn't mean I don't have a way to make money and legally hustle like other people do. For God's sakes, it's summertime. All kinds of people are doing yard work for money. So, again, it's funny how people always ask me not to defend myself when people cast stones at me. But nobody really says anything to anyone that's, well, that's not true. That's not true. Actually, I want to thank you all. I've seen a lot of people cast stones lately, and I've seen a lot of people defend the lessons. And that's really important. Please don't go out of the way to defend me at all. I'm my own standing person. I can defend myself with people's comments. But again, if you can defend the lessons like you have in the comments, that's great. Because a lot of people are agitated and they do not want you to succeed. They're pretending to be you, and they're not you. The Aztecs, the Mayan, the Gual, the remainder of the Gual became the Yamasee, who became the Gula warriors. They're all here spread out amongst the other Hebrew tribes and the other Canaanites. Some self-study, and we can all come forward with a piece of history to share with each other. Please remember the Utah campaign. Look, Nobody's giving us anything except the Creator. He's given us His Word, focus, and drive. If we just use that to sit around and read books, and we're not doing anything, I'm going out there, with or without you, with or without your help. Enough people have already donated to be able to afford a trip there and back. Nothing else. Barely enough time to breathe air while there. But the more people donate, the longer that trip can extend. I showed you on film, if I order in advance, it costs me $100 on Greyhound. 2 ass-numbing days driving out there. Who else is gonna do it though? You know? Who else is gonna do it? Look, people. The end's coming. We're not there yet. We need to be prepared for it. Alright, the sooner we get into little tribal sects out there, divide it up into groups we can get along with, the smoother things will go. You know? Think it over.